This is the Healing Power of Plant Foods cooking class, and my name is April, and I'm super excited to have you here tonight. I love to teach about the healing power of plant foods. Plant foods are powerful in boosting your immune system, decreasing risk of disease, helping you to reverse disease if you have it, helping you to achieve and maintain your ideal weight. And if you want to achieve any of those, this is the place to be. And I have to apologize, my last two classes that were scheduled, I had to cancel my February one completely because I was dealing with an injury. And then last time, 2 weeks ago, which was when this class was supposed to happen, I had the cold that's going around. So anyway, so I'm happy to be here tonight. I have got, the menu that I'm doing tonight is the one I was going to do in February. So this month was going to be some Italian stuff, but I think this one is one that I think you'll like a little bit better. It's one of my favorites too. So just a little bit about myself. I come from a standard American family, eating the standard American diet, and I've watched all my families get the standard American diseases. Heart disease, diabetes, both my parents died of cancer. I've got two, my brother and an uncle who've had kidney failure, been on dialysis. And as I was growing up and witnessing all of this, I decided I wanted to do something that many would say is my genetic destiny. I wanted to do something different, and I thought that was exercise at the time. So I got heavily into exercise and loved it. It turned me from a very lazy young or teen and older adult or young adult into a very more athletic, I guess you could say. But that wasn't all that I needed. I needed to change my diet. My energy levels were really low. My skin was super dry. My hair was falling out. I didn't feel good. And I just kind of stumbled onto some books and educated myself about diet, and just eventually went to a whole food plant-based diet. And my world changed. I felt so much better. My energy went up. I stopped being so consumed with my weight, and I've never looked back, and I love it. But my teaching isn't necessarily about you have to have a plant-based diet or you have to be vegan or vegetarian. My message is to eat more plant foods. The more plant foods you can get into your diet, the better, the healthier you are. And I'm not going to talk tonight just about how to make the dishes. I'm going to talk a little bit about nutrition as well. I was fascinated when I would learn, there's several doctors, one in particular, Dr. Joel Fuhrman. He would talk about the foods and what they actually do for you. The organosulfur compounds in onions that can, decrease risk of getting cancer, and just all the different things about the foods. And I thought that was so amazing how these foods that nature has provided for us can actually, they work with our body. Just to make us healthy and to, anyway, just get us healthy and to keep us free from sickness and disease. One thing it does not do is it doesn't repair injuries. It took me so long to get over that, and I'm still dealing with a little bit. So, and another thing it doesn't do is totally keep you from getting sick from a cold or flu, because you still get them occasionally. I still do that. I hear a lot of people say, I haven't been sick for 10 years. And I'm like, I think you're lying. But maybe, I don't know, maybe. Who am I to say? But I still get a little cold or flu. Usually just a head cold kind of thing, once, twice a year. I think I went 5 years one time without, and that was really unusual. I'm not sure what I was doing during that time. I wish I would have taken notes, because I don't know. But anyway, it's good to be healthy, good to be back. Happy you guys are here. We'll go ahead and get started. We have got a Mexican menu tonight, veggie enchilada casserole, spicy pumpkin soup, and a cilantro lime vinaigrette that's going to go on a cabbage slaw, and some lemon pudding. I think I talked about this in my last class, so I felt like I needed to do that recipe. So we're going to start off getting our enchilada ingredients going. So I'm going to start out by chopping my onion. And as I mentioned, onions have organosulfur compounds, and we experience those every time we open up that onion. The floodgates start to open, and our eyes want to water, and it's not sometimes a fun experience, but those sulfur compounds are powerful anti-cancer compounds. They're anti-inflammatory compounds, antivirus. They help you to fight viruses and bacteria.
Do you ever chop them without cutting the root off?
Without cutting the root?
Yeah.
I don't think I do. You mean that little thing that I just cut off?
Yeah.
No, I don't. And I'm getting to where I'm really preserving a lot of the foods. I am not throwing away a lot of the stuff, but that's one thing I haven't stopped doing.
You put them in your chopper, don't you?
I usually do, and we're going to see how that goes. I've had a little trouble using this because my injury was in my chest.
Can I do that?
And, well, I think I'll be okay. Yeah, I'll be fine. Thank you. I'm just going to move it here a little closer. If it is hard, what you can do is cut your onion down a little bit smaller, and there you go. That's a little bit easier. Who has one of these? Great choppers. Yeah, a lot of you guys do. Love it. It's one of the best tools. There we go. Makes cutting and chopping super easy. We had these, my friend Val up here, she chopped these for me, these sweet potatoes. Makes it a little bit easier if you've got the strength to do them. Sweet potatoes are a little bit harder. Yeah, just use your elbow. So I'm just going to put that onion in my pan and get it sauteing. And I need to get a wood spoon. I haven't put anything in the pan. What's that? Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, I don't put anything in my pan. I don't use oil to saute. I will eventually put in a little bit of water, but I try to avoid using oil. Wow, that's a strong onion. Whew. Oil is 120 calories per tablespoon of pure 100% fat. It's the highest calorie, lowest nutrient food that we consume, and it's been shown to increase risk of heart disease, increase inflammation. It's oxidized. You know, after you break open an olive, smash it up and get the oil all out, just like an apple, when you cut open an apple and make applesauce and just leave it on the counter, it starts to turn brown. That olive oil is starting to turn brown and oxidize immediately. Any kind of food does that. When we chop it up and leave it out there, it starts to oxidize, especially if there's not a lot of antioxidants in it. So, but that's not the problem with the oil. The oil is it coats your endothelial cells, which is the inner lining of your arteries, and slows down blood flow. And it's been shown to slow blood flow 40% within 4 hours of eating. And we don't want to slow our blood. If you want to learn more about that, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn of the Cleveland Clinic, he teaches preventive cardiology there. He has a 98% success rate with his patients who are literally on the list for bypass surgery. But they choose to do diet instead, because he has a 98% success rate, and he tells them, you do what I say, it'll work. But you got to do what I say. And he says no oil. He says no animal products at all, no oil, no white flour, no white sugar, no alcohol. It's lots of no's. But these people, they're serious and they want to get well, and they do. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, I think is on the back. He might be, do you have homework on the back? Did I include that? Sometimes I forget to include that. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. You can go heartattackproof.com. He's got a lot of videos on YouTube. I really encourage you to go watch some of those because they are really good. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. I've got 2 cloves of garlic chops. A what?
Is it white onion or yellow onion?
Whichever kind of onion you like, but I use yellow. This particular one I'm using yellow. You can use red. Mm-hmm. Red's higher in antioxidants, so it's a great onion to use. I tend to use it more for salads, which is what I'm going to be using it for tonight. I am using a red onion. So now that this is starting to get a little bit brown, you can probably see that. I don't know if you can see that in your monitor, but you might be able to see that. I'm just going to put a little water in here, and that's going to break off that browning on the bottom of the pan and bring that flavor into your dish, which is really nice. It's just caramelizing the onion. Also on my website, I've got 3 videos, but they're all over YouTube. If you just put in like no oil cooking, there'll be lots of people that come up that talk about that. But Dr. Esselstyn's, he's kind of the pioneer with that whole issue right there. But I've got healthforlifecooking.com. It's on your sheet, and just on the first page, if you roll down a little bit, there's a title. It says "Why No Oil," and there's 3 or 4 videos there. Dr. Furman, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Bernard, and I believe Pam Popper, and she talks about coconut oil, because that's the big thing now. Everybody's using coconut oil, and it's like 90% saturated fat. We don't want to use coconut oil. So, okay, from here we're going to go ahead and add our sweet potatoes. We're going to add 2 to 3 cups of chopped sweet potatoes. And the smaller you chop these babies, the faster they're going to cook. The smaller you chop them and the less water you have. I'm going to put a little bit more water in here, just so there's not too much volume, because I want to get those sweet potatoes cooked fairly quickly. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on that one, and then I'm going to jump over to my pan, and we're going to start the pumpkin soup as well. And this one I'm using a sweet onion, and it doesn't say that on your recipe, but you can, when I was picking the onions, I was like, oh, let's use a sweet onion for that, because we're adding maple syrup to this, and it's not really a sweet soup, but it's got just a little hint of sweet. So I thought, oh, a sweet onion would probably be good in that. So we're just going to do that. And again, I think I'll use our chopper for that. A large European study involving 10 countries showed that people who eat the most onions have a 60 to 70% decreased risk of all types of cancers. And the garlic is the same. The garlic and onion, leeks, scallions, shallots, all your allium vegetables, they have those same great properties.
And the kind you buy at the store that are already pre-chopped probably don't.
Pre-chopped without anything on them or in them, like in a little package. I've never bought pre-chopped.
Like in a bottle with vinegar?
Oh, in a bottle with vinegar.
Or just in a bottle, I don't know.
You know, it depends on how if they're cooked. When you cook them, you're decreasing that quite a bit. Raw onions got the most power, of course. But if they're soaked in vinegar, I don't know, they might be preserved somewhat. I'm sure there's still some good properties. I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to cook my onions, or I'm not going to eat onions that aren't cooked because of that. I would definitely still use them. And if you want to get them pre-chopped, I know you can buy pre-chopped frozen, right? Frozen onions, yeah. Yeah, whatever helps you to eat more plants, do it. Frozen, I don't know about canned. Canned, it kind of depends, because beets, actually, the more you cook beets, and carrots, which is a common canned food, they're actually higher, your body absorbs the nutrients better in those when they're cooked a lot, because it softens the fiber. When you eat a raw carrot, you got to chew that thing probably 50 times to get really a lot of the nutrients out of it. But when you cook a carrot, it's so soft, your body absorbs more of some of the nutrients, but you are losing some as well. So Barbara O'Neill, she's on YouTube, kind of an herbalist lady. She says cooked food has what raw food doesn't, and raw food has what cooked food doesn't. So they're both good. Just eat both of them. So don't obsess about it. Just eat it. Okay, then we're going to add some garlic. Once again, 2 cloves of garlic to this. Of course, we got a Teflon pan here, which I don't normally use, but I didn't want to bring all my pans. I just brought this one, or just using this from here. And then we've got 1 jalapeno chopped. Jalapeno, huh? Seeded? No, seeded. Seeds are taken out. Yes, yes. Jalapenos are a little bit scary for me. I kind of like using the bottled. I'll set those over there just whenever you want to get to them. I kind of like using the bottled because I know how spicy they are. I know how much to use, where I want, you know, sometimes when you use a jalapeno, it's jalapeno. Sometimes you never quite know what you're going to get. But this one was kind of a medium-sized one, so hopefully it won't be too spicy. And then we're going to put in our seasonings, and this pumpkin soup seasonings. We've got chili powder, cumin, and some chicken-style seasoning flavor. And I think I've got the salt in there as well. And the chicken-style seasoning recipe is on the back of your sheet. Who is not familiar with nutritional yeast? It is a cheesy flavored powder that a lot of people use to decrease the need for cheese. Or if they're trying to get off cheese, that's what they'll use instead, is nutritional yeast. They'll make cheese sauces. You can sprinkle nutritional yeast on a pizza or just sprinkle it on your vegetables. It's quite good. It's quite tasty. And this just happens to be in this combination for this this seasoning for this soup. And the combination really does kind of give it a chicken soup kind of flavor. Not so much this soup because there's not enough in it, but it just gives it a good flavor. Oh, with mashed potatoes. Oh, yes, I did. That's right, I did do that. It's a recipe for mashed potatoes and gravy. It's a gravy that's got the nutrition. It's a chicken style gravy. Yeah. So speaking of Teflon, those endothelial cells that are on the inside of your blood vessels that I said the oil slows down the production of this nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the most powerful blood vessel dilator in the body, and it keeps your blood vessels like Teflon. We've all cooked on Teflon. We know how nice the food slides around. That's how the inside of our arteries are when we have that nitric oxide production. We're not using olive oil or any kind of oils. They're healthy. We're eating lots of green vegetables. That's how the inside of our arteries are. We want our arteries like Teflon.
So taking nitric oxide as a supplement, does that work?
It's better if you eat. It's much better if you eat green leafy vegetables. You get it from green leafy vegetables. Your body produces nitric oxide from the consumption of green leaves, green leafies. Huh? I did. Okay, I'm going to go. I just put a little bit more water in here. I'm just going to put in my seasonings. All right, and I'm just going to kind of put just a little bit more water in there. In fact, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, the Cleveland Clinic guy who reverses heart disease in his patients, he has them eating 6 servings of greens a day. Fist-sized servings of steamed greens a day with a little bit of balsamic vinegar on it.
This size after they're steamed.
After they're steamed, yep. And that's his prescription. He says breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, bedtime snack, leafy greens. He says you're literally bathing your arteries in nitric oxide when you've got a constant flow of those greens coming into your body, and your blood vessels get cleaned out. And it's fairly quick. I mean, we're not talking days and maybe even weeks, but within a few months they start to see things open up, and it can take years for a totally blocked artery to open up. But once it starts to open up and you start getting more blood flow, then of course your risk of heart attack starts to go down immediately. So, okay, so we got our pumpkin soup going. Let's check on our casserole stuff. Yes?
Which greens do you recommend?
You'll have to go online and hear him do his little jingle. But anyway, it's kale, collards, bok choy, arugula, watercress, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, all leafy greens, any kind of leafy green. Swiss chard, beet greens, spinach, yes, all of them. He loves Swiss chard. And it's not even a cruciferous, and I've always praised cruciferous vegetables, but he says Swiss chard is wonderful. And it's tasty too.
So raw versus cooked, same.
Well, as far as the nitric oxide, there's something about cooking it that is better for decreasing risk of heart disease. Cancer, it's the raw. Heart disease, it's the cooked. So eat both. I know Dr. Furman recommends. He's a family physician from New Jersey, and he's the nutritarian guy. He says 2 pounds of vegetables a day. Pound of raw, pound of cooked. Make sure half of those are leafy green vegetables of each. So half a pound of raw, half a pound cooked. Anyway, that's a lot. That's a lot. But it's doable. It is doable. I'm doing some gut healing remedy, and I'm drinking a smoothie every morning with 11 ounces of greens in it. It's not too bad. Okay.
So what do you think that all the advertising on nature balance or balance of nature,
Uh-huh.
whatever those, what do you think about those?
I think they're great if that's the only way you're going to get your vegetables, but there's so much powerful in vegetables and fruits. I mean, why spend all the money on, I mean, it's like $30 a bottle. I looked into it at one time. I can, it's a 30-day supply, and yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, you're eating food. Why not eat the right kind of food and make it taste good? And I'm showing you how to make it taste good. So here you go. Okay, let's see. I was going to taste one of these sweet potatoes to see if it's soft, or test it. Still needs just a little more cook. Oh, actually, let's put in our broccoli. We want to put in our broccoli. So we'll get that in there. This broccoli has been chopped. in the chopper. Great way to chop it fine. I don't want big florets of broccoli in my enchiladas. I'm sure you don't either.
Which one you use for, the one sweet potato if you use yams, is that already?
You could, yep. I find I like these in this better, but the white sweet potato would be fine.
Do you need a hot pack?
What's that?
Do you need a hot pack?
Oh no, I'm fine. Thank you.
Peel the broccoli stems and you put it down.
No, did not. Did you peel the broccoli stems? Yeah, I don't peel the broccoli stems usually. I usually buy organic, and same with the sweet potato. I buy organic, and if not organic, I just scrub them really, really good. And just leave those skins on because there's lots of nutrients in the skin, especially potatoes. A lot of the nutrients are like right under that skin. So we want to get leafy greens into our diet every day, as I was saying. The nitric oxide production, decreasing risk of heart disease. Just a few things about green leafy vegetables. Most powerful antioxidant compounds are in leafy green vegetables. Our body gets 10,000, scientists believe, we get 10,000 oxidative hits a day. So we know what an apple does when it sits on the counter, it starts to turn brown. That's oxidizing. Our body gets 10,000 of those every day, oxidative hits, from environmental pollutants. Digestion causes oxidation. Exercise causes oxidation. Breathing, being alive causes oxidation. Everything we do causes oxidation. If you're exposed to cigarette smoke, if you're using lots of chemical kind of things on your body and even in your body, that creates oxidation. We need lots and lots of antioxidants. Green leafy vegetables are super high in antioxidants. They're also high in folate. People with low levels of folate have higher incidence of severe depression. Folate comes from foliage. We need to eat more foliage, more green leafy vegetables. If pregnant women ate more green leafy vegetables, they may not have to take folic acid pills, which actually increase risk of liver cancer, has been shown to increase risk of liver cancer. Leafy green vegetables are high in calcium. Where does a cow get her calcium to feed her young? She's not drinking glasses of milk. She is eating grass. Same with protein. Greens have a great source of protein, 25 to 49% protein. Where does the cow get its protein? Where does the elephant get its protein? Where does the horse and the gorilla and the donkey and the giraffe and all these big animals, where do they get their protein? They get it from green leafy vegetables, and we can too. Not saying that you can't have some animal protein, but the green leaves, we don't have to worry about protein. We are way overconsumed with the need for protein in our country. Protein this, protein that, protein shakes, protein bars, protein, all we hear, right? Protein will send a man to the moon, but we get plenty of it. Vegetarians have been shown to get twice as much as they need. And so we can stop worrying about protein. Phew, thank goodness, right? Green leafy vegetables are high in vitamin K, and vitamin K has been specifically shown to reduce spinal fractures by 60%, hip fractures by 77%, and other fractures by 81%. Green leafy vegetables are high in magnesium. There's 300 processes in the body that require magnesium, and energy production is one of them. So if you need more energy, eat more leafy greens. Nitric oxide production, I already talked to you about that, keeping plaque from building up on the inside of your arteries. Leafy greens have lutein. They contain lutein. It's a phytonutrient, and people with the highest levels of lutein in their blood have the cleanest arteries with no atherosclerosis. Back to the heart disease issue. Green leafies decrease methylation. Methylation is damage to our cells, to our DNA, which can turn into cancer. People that eat lots of greens have less methylation. In fact, there's a country where they go in these huts and they smoke cigarettes with each other and they smell each other's smoke. And because of the large amount of plant foods, leafy greens, sweet potatoes, they have like no methylation. They have no DNA damage. And also cognitive function. Greens help your cognitive. Studies participants who consume the most greens showed to be 11 years younger cognitively. And I think about that. I've got a little bit of family history of that going on, so I want to decrease my risk of that. I'm not sure it helps your memory, though, because I am very forgetful. So anyway. I lose my keys all the time, but it's not my fault, it's the keys. They grow legs and walk away, I'm telling you. Don't they do that? Don't your keys do the same thing?
They morph into other shapes.
Yeah, they do. Can't find me. Ha ha. Okay, we're going to go to our pumpkin soup, and we're going to just put this in the blender, and we're just going to jump over here for a minute while our enchilada stuff is continuing to cook. Okay, and then we are going to put in speaking of white sweet potato. Okay, so if you've been coming to me for a while, although I don't think I've done this recipe for this class, I used to use a lot of nuts and seeds for creaminess, and I developed a sensitivity to them, I think, because I used them so much for 10, 15 years. So now I got to find ways to make things creamy without nuts and seeds, and I have found potatoes to be a great alternative. And I'm using a white sweet potato in this today. If you have cashews and want to use a half a cup of cashews, but my friend that was here at my community education class that helped me, she said she had just made this soup just like the week before and used the cashews, the original recipe, and I made it that night with this, and she said I couldn't tell a difference. So there you go. I'm just going to check over here again. I'm going to go ahead and stir in our mushrooms. We want to get mushrooms into our diet, and this calls for a couple cups. I just chopped up this whole pan, and we're just going to put them all in there. Mushrooms have aromatase inhibitors that keep estrogen levels low. Mushrooms are anti-angiogenic, meaning they keep tumors from spreading to other parts of the body. They're a great way to build up your good bacteria in your gut, a great source of probiotics. Let's see, they stimulate and regulate immune function. They have 23 proteins that lower cholesterol and blood pressure at the same time. They decrease risk of cancer. A study out of Japan shows that women who had one button mushroom a day, the little white button mushroom, 64% less breast cancer with people that were eating that one button mushroom a day. Mix that with green tea, bumped it up to 89%. And it's those aromatase inhibitors, angiogenesis effect, antioxidant compounds, probably anti-inflammatory compounds. And I just added a quarter cup or 1 can. These are medium, so I go half on the green chilies. But they're either canned green chilies or I get the 505 brand at Costco. I really love those, so I only use a quarter cup because they are medium. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in our spice in here, which is chili powder, cumin, onion powder, and garlic powder. And let's see, we'll go a little bit on the cilantro. It says a small bunch, but you can put in however much you want or none at all. Like I said, my last class last week, I forgot to put any of it in, and they just sprinkled it on the top. So it's probably better for you raw anyway. But we'll put a. Oh gosh, well it depends. You know, people ask me that. It's like it depends how much you eat. Like this casserole would last my husband and I maybe 3 days, probably 3 days. It's very dense, but you can eat a lot. I mean, I eat a lot. My husband can eat a lot, although he doesn't so much anymore. But it serves. It's pretty filling, so it could serve probably 10. If you had the soup on the side and a salad and kind of maybe our menu that we're doing tonight. What's that? Oh, I didn't chop my other. I was going to demonstrate the chopper with the broccoli because it does really well with the broccoli. Great way to chop it. Just makes it so much simpler. I'll go ahead and add that. There might be a little extra crunch in your casserole, but that's good. Okay, and this is all I believe. Yes, we have everything in here. Oh, black beans. So beans, a magical fruit. The more you eat, the healthier you are. We want to get beans into our diet on a regular basis. I'm going to go ahead and add these in, and then I'll talk about beans. Huh? I did. Yes, I did. You got to check on me because I will forget stuff for sure. So you can do pinto beans if you'd like, if you prefer pinto beans. I prefer black beans over pinto for this. I find I like black beans when I'm using corn tortillas and pinto when I'm using flour tortillas. I don't know why. That's just a preference, personal preference. Okay, and then I'm going to add some enchilada sauce. Now you can use bottled enchilada sauce if you prefer. I'm a bit of a purist, so I like to make my own. And on the back of your recipe sheet is your chili tomato sauce. It doesn't have any sugar in it, which you'll find in enchilada sauces. And it doesn't have any oil, it doesn't have any salt, although this I have put a little bit of salt in. So I'm going to put a cup. No, I use salt. I prefer to add my own. I prefer to get salt-free stuff and then add my own salt, because then I'm using the Redmond real salt. And I mean, there's a lot of canned things that use sea salt, which is fine. I'm not too crazy about salt. I mean, as far as I don't get too wrapped up in, oh, I can't have salt. I think, especially living in the desert, I think we need a little bit of salt. I was getting to where I wasn't using very many salt, because I listened to two groups of different schools of thought. I listened to the no salt people, and I also listened to the yes, we need salt people. And it's funny, I'll go back and forth. I'll like try to get off salt, and then I'll hear somebody talk about salt and how we need salt, and so I'll start using it again. And anyway, I've gotten to where I don't really miss it if it's not on there, so I have to be careful and get it, because I have found that my legs will cramp, and I get like cramps in my toes as well. And I think it might be I think some people maybe could do okay, because Chef AJ says she hasn't had salt for 10 years or whatever, but I think I need salt. So
Doesn't it depend on your blood pressure?
I think, well, not so much that, but I mean, yes, your blood pressure, as well as probably other things, other reasons why you might need it. Again, electrolyte balance or whatever. Okay, this is ready to put together. Now this is a great, I'll put these over here for you too. This is a great burrito filling, just the way it is. You wouldn't have to go to all the work to do an enchilada if you don't want to, because this is wonderful. Just put in a taco shell, rolled up, put a little bit of enchilada sauce maybe over it, put it in the microwave or stick it in the oven for a few minutes, or not even do that. Just make maybe even a tostado. I love to lay these on a cookie sheet and make tostada hard shells out of them, and just either break them up and eat them like chips, or use them as a tostada shell. So, and we've got two kinds. I had some of these already, and then I went to get more, and all they had is this. So I'm using both. But these fit into the bottom a little bit easier. They're smaller, but these are like a street taco. Natural Grocer sells them. Very good. I love these. They're super clean. They're just like corn, lime, and salt. That's pretty much all that's in them.
What brand are
They are, let's see, Mi Rancho. Not Mr. Rancho, Mi Rancho. Oh, that is on. Okay, then so we're just going to take some more of this sauce, and we're going to put it in the bottom of our pan, like so.
So it's a pretty thick sauce.
It gets pretty thick. It'll blend up nice, and then after it sits, it thickens up a little bit. So you could add a little bit of, a little bit more apple cider vinegar, or a little more, a little water if you wanted to thin it down, but I just keep it the way it is usually. I did add a little bit extra water when I was blending it up last night, because I knew it would do that. Yeah. I just divide it, and we're going to put the other half on top. So I'm just going to lay these tortillas here along the bottom here, and then I have to kind of break them and fit them.
So first you use a half cup of the chili sauce.
I use a cup in here, and then there's another cup, a little bit more than a cup, and I divide that and do top and bottom.
Are you making a single layer? Two.
Single layer.
Of the tortilla?
Nope, we're making like 3 layers. Let's see, we're going to half that. And then we'll go with, let me get a scoop. Oh. Just going to use this to dish that out. Then we'll take our, you know what, I was going to add, I'll bet I didn't put that in. No, I didn't. Oh, I did have salt in here, never mind. Okay, then I'm just going to put this like so. And we're going to do about 1/3 of this. And you just kind of eyeball it. Last week I eyeballed it really good. We'll see how I do tonight. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get it just right. And just spread it around. It looks so good. Smells so good. And then we're just going to go with another layer. And then more of this. It kind of looks like it's not going to fit, but it'll fit. So just a few things about beans as we're throwing this together. Let's see. Oh, they're high in fiber. Fiber, all plant foods are high in fiber, but fiber helps to move toxins out of your body. Cholesterol, hormones that you don't want in there. Women who eat a lot of plant foods, plant-based diet, have better outcomes with like menopause, less symptoms, menopausal symptoms, and it's because you're getting rid of a lot of those hormones, those estrogens and other hormones that come with all of that. Let's see, beneficial fats. Beans are a great source of protein, 20 to 37% protein. I might not even need those big ones. Actually, I'm going to need those big ones. Decreasing your desire for sweets. They help prevent food cravings. Beans, because of the fiber, helps to stabilize blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. Increases fat burning and decreases fat storage after a meal. Promotes good bacteria. Okay, speaking of bacteria, we experience our bacteria speaking to us sometimes when we haven't eaten a lot of beans and we go and eat beans and all of a sudden we got this problem in our gut, right? We've kind of, I don't know, I never really experienced that because I've eaten beans my whole life. But if you haven't, wow, we are really, really full. If you haven't eaten beans your whole life, you might have a little bit of issues with that. So what you do is you eat less. You don't eat as many beans to start off with. You have, you don't eat something like this. You have maybe a half a cup or a quarter cup on your salad. Maybe just throw a little bit in your soup or whatever. You just go easy on the beans. I have sometimes just ended with this layer right here. We'll go ahead and top it though. I don't know why I've got so much in here. I did this last week and I wasn't overflowing this much.
Weak chest muscles, you just have to push harder.
Yeah, just push it down there. Okay.
Did you use canned beans?
I did. I'm glad you brought that up. I've used home cooked beans for many years. I've kind of gone to the can because I don't do them nearly as much because I've got a sensitivity to beans as well. And so I don't use them as much. So when I do use them, I usually just do the cans. Because when I did them from scratch, I would do like a whole crock pot full, and then I'd freeze them. And I don't have a pressure cooker. I just do a crock pot. But it's easy. I mean, if you want to do your beans from scratch, I encourage you to because it's just the beans and you can soak them. You soak them. I soak them for 24 hours and then I cook them in my crock pot. And soaking them and dumping off that water, that's the soak water, decreases that effect that they have on your gut, the bean effect. And I don't know if I mentioned that, but that is actually good. That means that they're working on your gut bacteria and helping to build that up. And the more beans you eat, the less problem you're going to have, because your gut bacteria is going to get used to it. And it's eating those bean fibers. Beans don't get digested in your small intestine. They go down into your large intestine where they're fermented. And they are, the gut bacteria feed off that fermentation. And then the gut bacteria produce short chain fatty acids, which are very beneficial for so many things in your body. Okay, I once again forgot my jalapenos that I was going to put on top. I was going to bring those last week and I forgot them. Anyway, we'll be okay. This will look really good. Todd, I'm going to have you, if you wouldn't mind, putting that in the oven for me. I don't dare lift that. Not only do I have a problem in my chest still, but I pulled the muscle in my back last week, huh?
You were kidding me, you said it was dense.
It is dense and it's heavy. Thank you so much. Okay, that's going to go for 20 minutes. Yeah, olives, you could use olives as well instead of, or you can use sliced jalapenos. Let's see, we want to go 20 minutes and 20 minutes. All right. That just makes it look nice on top, and you can also add some nutritional yeast. It's nice to sprinkle that on top, and it gives it a little bit of a cheesy look. Okay.
As a vegetarian, you don't use any type of cheese products, right?
I don't. I haven't used cheese for many, many years. Don't even miss it. I used to dream about cheese pizzas when I first gave it up, but I've lost that. I don't dream cheese pizzas anymore. I said I would never give up pizza or never give up cheese, and after I read Fit for Life, I decided I didn't want to eat it anymore. So, okay, so we've got our sweet potato in here with our onion and our jalapeno and our garlic that we've put in with our seasonings, and that sweet potato is going to help kind of make this a little bit creamy. I'm just going to blend that real quick. Actually, I'm going to put in a little bit of water, a little bit more water. I think it says a cup of water to blend it with a cup of water, but that's just an estimate. We just want to blend that so the onion and the peppers and all that get blended down nice. And this works in any kind of a blender. I mean, I praise the Vitamix or a Blendtec. It's really a great investment if you want to. If you've always wanted a Vitamix or a Blendtec and you want to, save up your pennies or dollars and get one, they're very well worth the cost. I've had this 20 years, same base, never a thing has gone wrong with it. I replaced these because they get really nasty looking after a while. But I love it. I went through like 3 blenders. I had a KitchenAid, which was a great blender, but when I went from that to this, it was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
My sister had
Let's see.
Vitamix, and for some reason she decided to get
The Blendtec?
a Blendtec, and she had it for a lot of years, and she did a lot of blending, but it died. And now she's back to Vitamix.
Yeah, they're both good blenders.
Vitamix, and it's still going strong.
Yeah, they're both good blenders. Blendtec is a Utah company, from what I understand, so that's a good thing. And I like the plunger with the Vitamix. You can really pack this thing full of greens, and really or any kind of thick anything.
The nice thing about the Vitamix is I can put, like if I want to make peppermint tea and stir in some goat milk powder, you can put it in with the lid off and just the one. You don't even have to put the lid on.
Oh,
It stirs so nice and slow.
That-
It's wonderful.
that would make me
Although
nervous.
I wouldn't advise it because
This thing will jump on me. I'll like get it going, and all of a sudden it'll whoop. And it might be because something needs to be. My husband might need to like clean things up a little bit.
It's a stir.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see. I just want to check the recipe here, make sure not that it really matters what order you do anything, but so I've got my seasonings. I put my potato in there. I've got some water in there, the pumpkin. Okay, we're just going to blend that pumpkin in. Add more water. Now I like to say, I think it says 3 to 4 cups of water, doesn't it? I like to start out with less because you can always add. You can't take away. Okay. Now this will heat. It would bring it to a boil if I let it, because this thing will blend really well and blend hot. But I prefer to heat it up on here. I worry a little bit about that potato getting too starchy. You know how you blend like a russet or something, it'll get really, whatever, starchy. In fact, people make cheese sauces with potato as a base because it kind of gets that, I want to say, kind of a stringy effect, for lack of better words. Okay, and then from here we are going to add, in fact, I'm just going to rinse that out just a little bit. I don't like to waste a drop. And I'll have you rinse that out if you could. Okay, and then we're going to add some lime juice. It says a juice of a half a lime, but last week when I did this, the lime was pretty dry, and so I had to end up using 2. Actually, that's a pretty juicy lime, so that might be enough. And then we're going to go with a tablespoon of maple syrup. And if you're a real purist, I thought about this as I was I actually made up another batch because I thought we were going to have 30 people here. so we have plenty of soup. But I had the thought you could, if you really wanted to not do the maple syrup, which I don't think there's anything wrong with adding a tablespoon of maple syrup to this. It's a processed sweetener, and I encourage people to use whole food sweeteners. But that little tablespoon is not going to make a difference. But if you wanted to, you could cook with the onion and the garlic and the jalapeno. And the seasonings, you could maybe throw in some raisins, a 1/4 cup of raisins or something, which would sweeten it up nicely, or even some chopped dates. And then when you blend it, that would all get blended up and add that sweet without. Yeah, well, and this is pure maple syrup. I mean, it's a good maple syrup. Just I've kind of gone through that purist where I just didn't want to use any processed sweeteners. That was just kind of my thing, you know. I've relaxed a little bit. I'm not quite so obsessed. Only a little bit. No, it's just fun for me to, I don't know. It's just silly. Anyway, okay, so I don't know what I did. I did have salt in that. Never mind. I keep looking for my salt, but I had it in there already. Okay, we're just going to heat this up on the stove to where it's hot. In fact, I will 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I think I will add what I did last night, some of it anyway. All right, and that's, okay, so this soup, well, the enchilada, let me just say about the enchilada. I have another enchilada casserole recipe where I make a cheese sauce with nutritional yeast. This one is a recipe that I did way back in my very beginning of plant-based eating days before I knew about cheese sauces, and they didn't have any decent vegan cheeses. And so I just left the cheese off. And my daughter loved this recipe. This is like her favorite recipe. She actually likes it better than the one with the cheese sauce on it. So, but I wanted to do this recipe again because I haven't done it for many years. And I thought, well, I kind of want to have something that kind of takes the place of that cheese sauce. Not that you need it. I don't think you really need it for this. But this soup is a really nice kind of cheese sauce. It's not cheesy, but it's just got a nice flavor. When I came up with this recipe and was having my friend and her daughter taste it, the daughter was like, hey, it tastes like Chili's queso, which I've never had Chili's queso. And I don't know if she was just being nice or not. So just take that for whatever. But I'm not sure it tastes like Chili's queso. But anyway, she really liked it. So, and she was a kid. So, okay, let's see. I did set that for 20, and we got another 11 minutes. So this is going to be perfect timing. I'm going to do, so we're doing a salad tonight, and thank you. Our coleslaw is going to be a half a head of shredded green cabbage. And I have a shredder. I have like it's not old fashioned, it's a Salad Master actually, where you grind that, you got the cones and you grind that. That's the kind of shredder I have, but you can use any kind of shredder, of course. If you've got a food processor with a shredding blade, use that. And I'm putting in 1 bell pepper chopped, 1 cup of chopped celery, and this is the whole package, isn't it? Yes. Your recipe says 1 cup of tomatoes, grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes cut, but I'm just using a whole one of those little small packages. We'll just use the whole thing. And let's see. We are also going to do a little red onion. And it says a half a cup, so we'll just go with, and I am using the red onion for this, obviously. I really like using raw red onion or scallions. You could use scallions in here, or green onions if you wanted.
That's for the dressing?
Nope, it's for the salad. We're just going to put it in the salad.
I don't think we have the salad recipe on here, just the dressing.
Oh, you know what? And I realized that after I got that printed out, I was like, I didn't put the salad recipe on there. But it's just, yeah, just jot it down. Half a head of cabbage, bell pepper, red onion, celery, and avocado. We're going to put some avocado in there. And also, if I'm doing this, I used to do this salad once in a while for a lunchtime salad. So I wanted it a little more filling. So I would put in some black beans, which is really good in it. But because we're doing black beans in the enchilada, I'm going to leave them out of this salad. Okay, and that's going to be enough of that. And then we're going to go with some avocado. The only thing about avocado in this salad is it doesn't keep really good for more than a day. You know, you need to eat the salad up. So I expect the salad to be gone before you leave tonight. Just kidding.
No problem. Okay, so half a head of cabbage. How much celery?
A cup of celery, 1 bell pepper chopped, and half a cup of red onion, or however much you like. And I like to go a finer dice on this. I'll dice it in the skin, and then I'll cut it open and then dice it this way as well. So you get lots of small. And the reason avocado is great in a Mexican salad, of course, but I'll use avocado in many types of salads. Or we're going to put some seeds in our dressing because that takes the place of oil. This salad, you know, if your average person was making it, you'd probably do a vinegar oil dressing. You don't need to do vinegar oil dressing. You've got oil in the avocado, and we're going to put oil in our salad dressing in the form of a whole food. We're using sunflower seeds, and we're going to blend them into our dressing, and it's going to give it a little bit of a creamy texture. And I just dice this right in the skin, like so. That way you're not cutting your hand, and it's not slipping out of your hand, like often happens when you try to cut an avocado. And we're using a small avocado. I find it doesn't take very much to give the salad a nice creamy texture. What about avocado every day?
Avocado in anything.
I love avocado. Avocado is nature's butter to me. Nature's plant butter. I mash it up and mix it into steamed vegetables, steamed broccoli, steamed kale, whatever vegetables I'm steaming, I'll just, instead of oil or butter, yeah. So much better for you. Avocado's got fiber. We want fiber. We want lots of fiber. Fiber feeds our gut. Okay, then we're going to do our salad dressing. So we're going to come over here, and our salad dressing is a base of dates. I've got 10 dates, 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are going to add the oil, the natural oils that have the fibers with it, although we are blending it down, so it's breaking that up. And I've got this soaked in a half a cup of rice vinegar. And I use rice vinegar that is not seasoned. You want to look for, when you're at the store and you're buying rice vinegar, you want to get the kind that's not seasoned. I'm just going to add some water here. And we want to add about a half a cup of water. Is it a half a cup of water or a cup of water? I think it's a half a cup of water. Yes, half a cup of water. Okay. So we're just going to add that water. And then, let's do our lime. We're going to do our lime juice. Juice from one lime. Actually, we're going to do some zest from a lime first. This is a microplane zester, in case you're wondering. I love this thing. I used to, when it called for zest, I would just put extra juice in because I didn't have a zester. I didn't care about having a zester. And when I discovered this thing and bought one, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so great to add zest. What's that?
Where were you all my life?
I know, that's how it was. You know how sometimes those kitchen tools are just like, I don't need that. It's just a little intimidating for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe I was just cheap and didn't want to buy one. That's probably what it was. Not that they're expensive at all. Okay, and then juice from this lime. And this is a cilantro lime vinaigrette, by the way. But we'll go light on the cilantro.
Make it good.
Okay, oh, we also want to put in our seasonings, which is a half a teaspoon of cumin and a little pinch of cayenne pepper, just to give a
Do
little.
you even still make those little things?
This is a keychain, but I use it. In fact, I'm going to put it right in there so I don't lose it, because I like to lose those. It's
Little tiny Tupperware.
It's a little Tupperware thing from like a Tupperware party from like eons ago. It's red. People don't use red anymore. I had the seeds and the dates soaking in the vinegar is so that it'll blend up a lot easier, quicker, easier, without it getting hot. Because like I said, you blend this long enough, it'll get hot. If you have them soaked, you don't have to blend them as long. Plus, if you have your standard Osterizer blender or whatever blender you might have, it's a little bit easier, it's a lot easier to blend that up creamy without, when you're not having a real strong blender. Nuts and seeds are a little bit harder to chop up. Yeah, chop up fine and make them creamy. So,
How much of that?
just like a couple tablespoons, or however much you want. We're gonna go light on it. And you can already see that. You can see it steaming. I don't know if you can see that. It heats up pretty quick, especially when there's not very much in there. Okay.
There's no cilantro on the recipe.
Oh, there's no cilantro in the recipe? There's supposed to be. It's a cilantro lime vinaigrette. Are you sure? Somebody needs.
Well, yeah, the recipe says, but it doesn't.
Wow.
In the vinaigrette.
Anybody want to be my editor?
You got a little classical.
Oh, we got some boiling going on there. That soup's going to be good and hot. Okay, so we're just going to mix that all together, and we're going to pour this dressing. I think we've got enough cabbage in there that it'll take all this dressing.
So you didn't put the cilantro in the dressing? You did. Oh,
I did. But you can just put it in the salad, too. That's what I should have done.
and
I should have taken some salad out and left the cilantro, or put the cilantro in the salad. Anyway, hopefully there's not too much in there to make it too nasty. Yeah, and then you add the black beans to it, which makes it look really nice. So when you don't, the black with the red, it's a really nice addition. And this is really good. I love this on top of the enchilada. Not so much on the, it's good on the side, but I really like it on top of the enchilada. A nice big piece of cabbage right there. All right, and that avocado gives it a little bit of creaminess along with the sunflower seed, and you could totally leave the sunflower seed out because it would have plenty of creaminess, I think, without that. If you didn't have sunflower seeds or didn't like them, although you wouldn't even know that they're in there, or wanted to cut down on the fats a little bit. All right. Let's see, we got a minute left on our casserole, so that's good. We just have our dessert to make. What time is it? 7 o'clock. We're doing good on time.
This changed out for that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. We'll just put that right here. We'll put that over here. Thank you. Okay, so we are using more sweet potato. I love sweet potato. In fact, I should have brought a Japanese sweet potato. That's what we're using tonight. Anybody familiar with Japanese sweet potatoes?
They're purple, right?
They're purple. Harmon sells them as a purple yam. Natural Grocer sells them as a Japanese sweet potato. They're pretty expensive. They're like $2.99 a pound, but they are so good. If you like sweet potatoes, they are sweet. However, I'm finding that as the year goes on, they're a winter food, potatoes pretty much. Let's see, I'm going to cancel that, and I'll have you grab that out of the oven, Todd, when you get a second. It'll be fine in there for a minute. There's some.
So you're just using your regular sweet potatoes?
No, I'm using Japanese sweet potatoes tonight. They are the best. They're the creamiest, really kind of velvety smooth. But as I started to say, we're kind of getting towards the end of the season. So when you go, if you want to go buy some to try them, again, Harmon's, they sell them as a purple yam over by the sweet potatoes. You want to look for the smoothest, small if possible. I mean, they're nice. If they're big, they can be nice if it's earlier in the season. But most likely, if it's later in the season and they're big and they got knobs on them and cracks and bumps and stuff, you don't want to get those because they'll start to turn kind of gray, and they will get a little bit of a fermented-y taste. But these were good. I had a couple that were a little bit brown. Huh?
Are they white on the inside?
Yes, they're white on the inside. They're kind of a yellowish on the inside. And they're just, I did take the skin off. I'll just, like if I bake them, I like to have them for breakfast, like with my smoothie. Not in the smoothie, but just to eat. I just eat them. I just bake them and break them open and just eat them. They're so good. And I'll eat the skin. But for this, we don't want the skin. This is a dessert. This is pudding. So, and I'm doubling this recipe actually, so you guys got to eat this. And they're earlier in the season, they're a little bit sweeter. Like they're not quite as sweet as they have been, but they're still good. I hope this food processor will handle all of this. I'm a little bit worried about that actually. Maybe we'll blend them separately. Just right there is good. Oh, you got that thing. You're smart. Okay, let's see. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to put the lemon juice in now because I want to make sure this is going to blend up okay. This is a lot that's in here, and I'm putting dates in there too. So I'm going to go with the lemon juice, get that blended up, and then we'll put in the dates. That's working good. Okay, and then we want to sweeten this up a little bit. And again, when they're really sweet, you may not even need this many dates, but this is about 6 ounces of dates. I'm going to take that little piece out. It's not looking really good. About 10. Yeah. I have found, I bought a little scale because I was doing food for somebody, and so I was weighing stuff. And I have found I use it quite a bit, and it's nice when you're talking about dates or something that's different in size. You can get a little bit more accurate on your amounts. Although with sweetening, really, I mean, if you're even close to the amount, you're going to be good. So those dates are just going to add natural sweetener. The dates, of course, have fiber. They have everything intact. Nothing's been taken away. Nothing's been added, kind of like your other sweeteners. It is going to add a little bit of a darkness to this, but not enough to really make much difference. I'm going to add some vanilla, about a teaspoon per recipe. I'm just guessing. And I'm going to help it along a little bit because I don't want this. I think this sweet potato will be okay blending it. Last time I blended it quite a bit. Okay, that needs to go a little bit more. I'm going to go a little more lemon juice.